Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. Welcome back to another episode of Hard Times, where I explore food and recipes from times of scarcity and hardship. Today, I'm going to be making what I'm going to be grouping together as condiment sandwiches. Sandwiches when you don't have anything left in the pantry or in the refrigerator, but you've got condiments like ketchup, like mayo, like mustard, and maple syrup. So, very simple things. You've got bread, you've got some condiments, you need something to fill your belly, you make a condiment sandwich. I'm also going to include a couple variations on the condiment sandwiches just because I'm interested to see what they taste like. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to be using white bread, and did you know historically that white bread was actually considered fancier or more privileged because it required more effort, more time to refine it so that the wheat or the flour was white. It's not until recently that wheat bread or whole wheat bread was considered more healthy and therefore more expensive and considered better for you, and that white bread was sort of demoted from its lofty level of being quite nice. I actually love white bread. In fact, I think BLT should only be made on white bread, maybe sourdough bread. It toasts up beautifully, it's soft when you have it just as a sandwich, and it's great. I do buy wheat bread because it's supposed to be better or more healthful for you, because it doesn't get converted into sugar as quickly as, say, something like white bread, because white bread is more processed, but I love white bread. And today this is what I'm going to be using for my sandwiches. And this at my local grocery store cost $1.19, so very economical. And the first sandwich I'm going to make is a ketchup sandwich. 2 slices of bread, take my ketchup, healthy amount of ketchup. So there's the ketchup, I'm just going to smear that on. And while I was researching this, I learned that ketchup sandwiches are also eaten in India, although they use a different type of ketchup. Rather than Heinz tomato ketchup, they use a Maggi ketchup, which is sometimes hot and spicy and has a different flavor profile than the ketchup that we're familiar with here in the US. But ketchup sandwiches are eaten there because they're appreciated for their flavor as well, and of course they're economical. You can also have ketchup toast, which I think would be great because you've got that great crispy texture. If I had some Maggi hot and spicy, I would definitely taste that as well. I think on toast it would be absolutely delicious because you've got that crunch of the bread. Anyways, back to the ketchup sandwich. So I've added some ketchup, and now I'm gonna cut this one in half this way. I know many people are saying, why don't you do triangles? I'll do triangles on the next one, okay? So here we go. There's the ketchup sandwich. So I recently had ketchup in a sandwich in my Korean grandma toast sandwich, which was spectacular. If you haven't seen that recipe, I'll put the link down below. It includes a kind of omelet frittata with a teaspoon of sugar along with a healthy squirt of ketchup. Check it out. Alrighty, here we go. Ketchup sandwich. Itadakimasu. It actually reminds me a lot of childhood. I remember going to my neighbor's house and having white bread. My mom would always buy wheat bread, although it was equally squishy. White bread doesn't have that kind of wheaty flavor, and I remember really loving, we would have bologna sandwiches. But the texture, that kind of stickiness of white bread and how it kind of collects on your teeth or to the roof of your mouth totally takes me back to those days. And for what it is, it's pretty good. We've got flavors here that are very, very familiar and friendly. Think of hot dogs, think of hamburgers. It's sweet and tangy. Yes, we put it in here, but it's not so substantial that you're like, oh, it's just everywhere, just a little bit. And it also reminds me a lot of SpaghettiOs. A little bit tangier, a little bit more of a vinegary punch than SpaghettiOs, but that same kind of sweet canned processed tomato flavor, along with some starch to kind of carry that. Yeah, ketchup sandwich. Not bad. For the next sandwich, I'm going to be making a mayo or mayonnaise sandwich. Now, I've explored the combination of peanut butter and mayo before in a series of sandwiches, and I will also put that link down below. But plain mayonnaise sandwich, never had one of those. So let's do it. Again, we've got some plain bread. I'm going to put some mayo. Remember that episode of Content Cop where iDub just squirts mayo all over his, I believe it was a turkey sandwich? Like a heinous amount of mayo? Yeah, I remember that video too. I'll put that link down below in case you missed that episode of Content Cop. Yeah, that was a lot of mayo, Ian, a lot Alrighty, so back to the regular plain mayo sandwich. I'm going to put a generous amount of that right here. Now apparently this sandwich is actually very popular in the South. Mayonnaise on bread and mayonnaise with peanut butter. So I'm going to do this version first, which is just plain mayonnaise. Block that in half, and this time I'm going to cut it in a triangle. 2 triangles actually. 1. So that one has a different mouthfeel. It's a little bit oilier, a little bit slipperier. And of course it tastes like mayonnaise, which is slightly eggy, salty, a little bit of kind of a vinegary tang in there. I find I don't like this one as much as the ketchup one. I feel like the ketchup was a little bit more flavorful, had a little bit more going on than the mayo. This one just tastes kind of oily. And salty. Definitely salty. So again, if you need to fill your belly up, you want to feel like you're having a more substantial meal than just plain bread, add a little bit of mayo, bumps it up. It's kind of like bread potato salad. You definitely taste the bread in there, and then a little bit of mayo to kind of salten things up. Yeah, the mayo sandwich. I definitely prefer it with peanut butter. The peanut butter just adds another layer of complexity, of course a little bit of protein as well, but if you don't have peanut butter around, you've got mayo, then that's what you do. So now to do a variation on the mayo sandwich, we're going to again take 2 slices of white bread, and we're going to take mayo again and liberally place that on both slices of bread. Or I've read you could use Miracle Whip as well, which is a dressing. It's much sweeter than mayonnaise. And now we're going to do this. We're going to add a slice of canned pineapple. 1 pineapple ring right there. And some people call this the best sandwich in the world. Right here. Mayonnaise pineapple sandwich. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Have you ever had such a thing? I surely have not. Fold this one in half. And now I'm going to cut this one this way. Are you cringing? Sorry. Gotta cut it all different ways. Whoa. This is like a retro 1950s salad thing going on here. All right, let's give this a go. Here we go. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that sandwich. I remember really liking canned pineapple as a kid. Now that I've had fresh pineapple, it's kind of difficult to go back to canned pineapple because it has that strong metallic taste to me, and it tends to be packed in syrup, so just a little bit too sweet. In this case, it's really beautiful to open a can of pineapple and see it in these beautiful rings, but with mayonnaise in this sandwich, it doesn't work for me. It does taste a lot like those kind of retro mayo canned fruit combinations. If you haven't seen my Jell-O mold videos, I'll put those links down below as well. It's salty and kind of oily from the mayo, and then you've got the bite of the pineapple, which is juicy and succulent and has a great pineapple flavor to some sense, but then it kind of just bursts in your mouth in kind of an unpleasant way. And usually I like combinations of sweet and salty, but for me it doesn't really work here. And then you've got the bread that kind of holds everything together, but doesn't really do much. It's just kind of, it's gluey, and this combination to me is just not very pleasant. But yeah, for those of you that love it, do let me know in the comments why you love it, who introduced this to you, and any kind of background history about the sandwich in your life. I want to learn more about it. So next, we're going to be making the syrup sandwich. Now, I picked up Mrs. Butterworth's because I remember as a child staring at Mrs. Butterworth on my tabletop, just waiting for her to talk. Back then, it was in a glass bottle, and in the commercials, Mrs. Butterworth would talk to you while you were eating your pancakes. I stared at this bottle for a long time, and it never talked to me. She's still not talking to me. Yeah. Let's make a syrup sandwich. Very simple. Again, we have 2 slices of bread. We take some syrup, and we pour that on our bread. I'm sure you could add margarine or butter to this if you'd like. And then we just close that up. Oh my gosh, that smell reminds me of IHOP. There we go, syrup sandwich. Here we go. That's good. Humble, yes, but very good. Sweet, maple syrupy, artificial maple syrup. Reminds me of Bear Claws and International House of Pancakes. The bread is squishy. The syrup soaks right in because it's a sponge. It's delicious. Mm-hmm. Out of all the ones I've tried, this one makes the most sense and is delicious. It tastes like a variation of waffles because that syrup is just so familiar. Yep, there you have it. Syrup sandwich. Scrumptious. Lastly, I'm going to make a mustard sandwich. Plain old French's yellow mustard. Again, 2 slices of bread, mustard. Boop. Cut in half. Beautiful streak of yellow. Here we go. That one, like the ketchup's actually pretty good. It reminds me a lot of hot dogs. That squishy white bread, the tang of the mustard from the vinegar and the sharp kind of bite to it reminds me of hot dogs, of course, without the hot dogs, but it's salty enough that it flavors the bread enough. This and the ketchup actually work really well. I'm not actually a huge fan of mustard. I like mustard with things, mustard with hot dogs, mustard with corned beef, mustard with pretzels, somewhat, but yeah, this is like similar to that combination of a soft pretzel with mustard. You've got essentially bread and yellow mustard. This combination works. Very flavorful, it's savory, and it works. It is missing the bologna a little bit, but you can almost not miss it because the mustard is so salty, it flavors the bread just fine. This one works too. Not bad, actually. Kind of shocked. Pretty good. And the last one I'm going to make is not really a sandwich, but more of a toast, and it was one that my grandmother taught me how to make. My grandmother's no longer with us anymore, but I remember her toast. She would have this almost every morning for breakfast. Super simple, super easy, and humble. And all you need is some bread, butter, and sugar. And she, of course, liked using white bread for this particular toast. So let me go grab my toast. So here's my beautiful piece of toast. And I remember her using margarine, but I've got butter here today, which will be equally delicious. Gotta love that sound. That's the sound of joy coming to you soon. Scraping butter onto toast. Then she would take sugar and sprinkle it on the toast. I mean, right? What kid wouldn't love this? She made mine extra sugary because she knew that's how I liked it. And then the trick is to make sure you get it right on the edges because I didn't like crust as a kid. So if you put sugar on the way to the edges though, you'll like it. Alrighty, this one goes to Amma. Itadakimasu. Oh my gosh, I have not had that in years. And it's just as delicious as I remember. I remember really enjoying the crunch of the granulated sugar on top and that combination of butter and sugar and the little crunch of the toast. Just so stinking good. Alrighty, so there you have it, a series of condiment sandwiches. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever had any of these sandwiches before or if there are any others that I missed. Do let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Check out the Hard Times playlist. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Oh, Emmy, you shouldn't be eating that.